What can 10 million naira do for you in this economy? Well, with an initial deposit of 10 million naira, you get to own a smart home. Lights? That's what I'm talking about. You get to own a smart home right here in Ajah with Flourish Duplex. Experience the pinnacle of modern living with automated smart homes at Flourish Duplex. A 4-bedroom, fully detached luxurious duplex with features such as a fully furnished kitchen, constant lights, CCTVs, smart locks, tight security, a serene environment in a gated estate. With a payment plan of 10 million naira initial deposit for a one-time payment or an instrumental payment that runs from 12 months or 18 months. Terms and conditions apply. So what are you waiting for? For more information, head to our website at www.flourish360.com.ng or send a DM to the number displayed on the screen to schedule an inspection. Make Flourish 360 your home, where we ensure long-lasting wealth and happiness. Come closer. Contact massively each time you engage with the app, just by liking, commenting, sharing, and inviting friends to our platform. As a business owner in search for talent or an individual in pursuit for employment, PP Chat has a segment covered for you. With PP Chat, you can trend and earn. Whether you're an entrepreneur or a business enthusiast, you can advertise your products, buy, and sell in the marketplace of PP Chat. Thank you. With PP Chat, you don't need to have thousands of followers before you can earn points. As long as you're an active user on the app, you stand the chance of earning points, which can then be converted to money. You just earn the points, right? When boredom kicks in, head over to an entertaining game session. On PP Chat, you get to trend, transact, and earn money. To sign up, log on to www.ppchat.com. You can also download on App Store and Play Store. PP Chat, trending beyond.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Choir Podcast. My name, as always, is Blessing Johansson Bright, and today we are here to give you clarity on issues, current issues on our realities everything going on around us. We have an amazing guest. This is the second time coming. It's because the first time, based on popular demand, we decided to bring him again. So, drum roll. We're here with my brother, a friend, and a wonderful and very intelligent person, Randy Peter. Hello, Peter.
Hello, Miss Blessing. What an absolute pleasure to be back on the Qua podcast.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you. And I see you're looking very amazing.
I mean,
I love your shirt. Coincidentally, it happens to be same with our topic.
Justice for Nigeria.
Yeah. So let's talk about the shirt.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what you have on. It's actually good. Justice for Nigeria. What do you mean by Justice for Nigeria?
Justice for Nigeria is a baby born out of my passion for humanity. And growing up and realizing that we are all human beings and we deserve to be treated equally and to be held to the same standards. And when you are now, coincidentally or incidentally living in an environment like Nigeria, where there is so much inequality, where there is so much of injustice, and very quite often you begin to see there is a trend, justice for Dami. We just did 1 year for justice for Mohbad, with justice for the person that was killed in Plateau, justice for people of Benue, recently justice for Borno, flood victims and all of. So it has been justice. So collectively, I had to bring it under one umbrella. We are more than 200 million Nigerians who are crying for justice. If you visit prisons, go to hospitals, go to schools, Nigerians are victims of injustices in different phases and different climes. So we all have to come together and help to find justice for ourselves as a people. And that is how I came about Justice for Nigeria, and we are here today.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So Justice for Nigeria is for the entire country.
Justice for me, justice for you, justice for everybody.
So how effective is this hashtag? Because oftentimes we've had hashtag who killed Delegiwa, hashtag justice for Mohbad. How effective? Because sometimes some of this hashtag ends on social media. It doesn't follow through.
Yeah.
So how effective is this hashtag, the Justice for Nigeria?
We will not judge how effective we get by just a sprint. Nation building is a marathon, is a continuous process. And it is going to take courage, resilience, and the tenacity with your passion. All of what we have done, you talked about Delegiwa, it happened decades ago.
Yes.
We have had other issues. They are killing. There was a woman who was killed one time, Eunice, who was doing
an evangelism.
Deaconess Eunice in Abuja. All of these are pointers to the fact that something is beckoning on all of us as Nigerians, that we must wake up and pay attention to this. Because the tragedy in not paying attention to it is what I will tell you, that as you continue to play the I don't care card, the prayer is that the victim card does not fall on you. Because today's victims were yesterday's survivors. Tomorrow's victims will be today's survivors. The dead can no longer die. The next set of people who will be victims of injustice will be between you and I who are alive. God forbid, is always our prayer. But it happens. As we are talking now, yesterday there was a case of a stray bullet killing somebody somewhere in Delta. There are issues that are going on like that. So when you say justice for Nigeria, it is a clarion call on all Nigerians that, look, we have an existential problem. We are in a dilemma. We have to continue working on it. We should put our focus where focus needs to be put. And gradually, even though for some time it may seem like it is just social media, it transcends. It begins to, create a narrative. You put a spotlight on it. And with our little efforts, before you know it, we may not solve all the problems, but we can drastically reduce them and make ourselves safer and better off.
Wow, this is very profound. However, we've had instances of where Nigerians come out, beyond the fears of social media. They come out, carry placard, and at the end of the day, they end well. Take, for instance, the NSAS.
Yes.
Till today, there are still an unidentified number of people
Yes.
that were dead, buried. We had several missing cases and people that were locked up. And I think it was recently that they said they released some of them.
A lot of them are still in
Yes.
detention.
So I think that is, would you now still going through all this? And also recently, last month there was a protest and bad governance.
Yes.
And then few weeks ago, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, they apprehended some people and said they were trying them for treason. So with all this going on, would you say that this is the right time to push for your right, to push for justice for Nigeria when the federal government is looking at it as treason?
In fact, the best time to push for our rights as a people was 60 years ago when we had independence. We are already on the back foot. And it is not too late to begin because the next best time is now. The fundamental problem of Nigeria is leadership. And when you see a leadership that is not beholden to the people who are completely detached from the realities of the people, they are only interested in power for the sake of it, arrogating powers to themselves. And that is why this injustice continues to grow. Inequality continues to fester. So as a people, no matter how long oppression over a people may have lasted, once a majority of those people together say enough, it will be enough. So when you want to, if you want to rate your response to the response of the government, anybody who is benefiting from a system of injustice and corruption will not be ready to give it up on a platter. It is our collective responsibility to put pressure on the leadership and ensure that we create a Nigeria that we want. Because what in the long run are we doing as a nation? To sit down and be at the mercy of people who are in public office, who live in luxury and affluence at the expense of multitudes of persons who are suffering in incarceration, people who have died who are not even accounted for. People, from your own statement, is it not worrisome that people who protested are being charged for treasonable felony, while in Nigeria there is a program called Operation Safe Corridor where the military is saying they are repentant Boko Haram terrorists. That is, the country is pardoning known terrorists even in the middle of the war when it is not over. There is still banditry that as recently as yesterday killed about 3 soldiers and police officers. Yet, people who are carrying placards and are saying we want a better government are being charged for treason. That kind of leadership will only continue to fester for as long as we, the people, continue to permit it. We have to come together and say enough. It will not be easy. A new and better Nigeria is possible, but it is not automatic. We have to wake up every day and be determined to fight for it. And that is what we are doing.
Wow, you made another profound statement. You said known terrorists are being forgiven.
Yes.
They gave them so much and tell them go and sin no more.
Go and sin no more.
And yet people going about their rights, carrying placard, people with weapons are being freed.
Are roaming up, are given up, they are empowered. There is an empowerment program. They take them into, some of them were even taken out of the country. Yes. While Nigerians who protest and say we are ending bad governance are now in incarceration. And look at the irony of it all. The current government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in fact, the Nigerian youths who are protesting today took a cue from him. President Tinubu led a major protest against the Jonathan government in 2012. They called it Occupy Nigeria. Buhari was a part of it, the former president. A lot of them saved Nigeria group. They occupied Ojota for days. They fought the Jonathan government to a standstill for what? Removal of fuel subsidy. Guess what was the first decision President Tinubu made when he became president on May 29, 2023? Fuel subsidy. Until today, the criminality and corruption in fuel subsidy is still not known, is still not gone. And that is why we still have queues. So if Tinubu could protest, why should I not protest?
Why wasn't he charged for treason?
Why wasn't he charged for treason?
Wow, that's a question.
Today he's in the villa. But other people who protested under his government are in prison and in custody. It is immoral and unconscionable.
Wow. So if you're just joining in, this is the Kwa Podcast, and we are here with Peter Randy or Randy Peter, or how you know him as aggressive man of God. How did you call it? Radical man of God, and also the pioneer of justice for Nigeria. So according to him, justice for Nigeria is not just for one person. This is for the betterment of everybody. Okay, so let's talk about the flood.
Yes.
Let's talk about the flood. I think I saw a video of how much was released, and then would you say that the government is doing just enough to, salvage the whole situation?
Well, if you want to ask how well the government is doing, your guess might be as good as mine, because I'm sure you have also seen clips where loaves of bread were being tossed to persons who were, caught up in the floods at the top of their buildings like refugees with no clear plan. So what is going on now is indigents or individuals coming together. There are WhatsApp groups where people are coming to say, if you need rice, if you need this, because we know that, look, if you wait for government, we are in trouble. Borno State has been on the receiving end of an incredible level of insecurity. The people have been, displaced. They have now become secondary displaced persons, displaced from where they were displaced to. And now, even taking shelter in most of those places, the floods have come. When the current governor of Borno State took power in 2019, he visited Niger Republic to visit Nigerian citizens who were refugees. The majority of them who were Borno indigents. Nigeria had more than 300,000 refugees in Niger Republic from Borno State. Now, double that with what we have as the flood or the catastrophe that is there. It is a catastrophe of gigantic proportion. And the, lethargic response and the weak response of government shows you what exactly our priorities as a people. What is our disaster management system? What is our emergency response system? What funds do we put in place for people like that who are impoverished? When government is buying private jets and building presidential libraries and buying presidential yachts, 400,000 people are waking up in Borno, not knowing where their meals will come from. Their sources of livelihoods are gone, houses submerged, children displaced, women not knowing where some of their family members
I read that some were hiding in the trees.
Caught up, of course, they are there, because if you come down, where do you move to? Where are the life jackets or life boats that are moving around and, trying to... As it has happened now in Nigeria, the unfortunate situation is that the relief materials or whatever that will be put in to help the people is another opportunity for a new set of people to become millionaires. That is the Nigerian situation. People will loot even from a people who are going through a tragedy. The corruption and criminality that we are talking about, justice for Nigeria, justice for Borno today.
Wow. Would you say that the flood is as a result of natural disaster, or if it was due to negligence?
They say the dam broke. One of the dams around there broke, and it overwhelmed the city. How it happened is a report that a thorough investigation should show. What should have been the impact if there was proper planning and maybe drainages and all of that? How long it would have lasted is a question for another day. But in any case, we are in the dilemma. It has happened. The question will now be, what is the response? I was watching Al Jazeera yesterday, and the reporter was stating that the vice president visited the place. You saw him in the flood waters, the national security advisor. Politicians will troop there. The question is, what is the respite you are taking to the people? Is it for photo ops, for political gains or clout? Or you have the welfare of these people? Because after the promise of the vice president, 2 days later, the welfare packages have not still arrived.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about, because when we talk about the ills in government, let's talk about our individualism. Yesterday, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, they celebrated the demise 1 year anniversary of Mohbad. Yes, and till now, there's been a lot of back and forth, and there's been a lot of blame games. Would you also attribute that to the failure on the part of our justice system, or is that like an individual thing? Because there's this: is the father, is the mother, is the this, is the that. So would you throw your weight and say, okay, this is as a result of negligence on our behalf? Because they had to exhume his body after burials and all that. Did that really do much?
Miss Blessing, I want to unequivocally say that everything we see around us is a product of leadership. There is a place for personal responsibility. But the truth of the matter is that on these cases of injustices and the fights for injustice, case study, the case of Mohbad that you mentioned, it is a total failure of our law enforcement system and our administration of criminal justice system. If there was an efficiently working police system that is responsible and responsive, people should not be on social media doing the work of law enforcement officials. I should not be creating content and talking about what should be done, because law enforcement officials should be trained to handle it. Mohbad wrote a petition to the police for CID at Alagbon in Ikoyi, Lagos. The police said he did not come to, follow up, and that is why it was not attended to. The person who was petitioned wrote a counter petition alleging defamation. If Mohbad was not brought in to come and respond to his petition, he should have been invited for questioning on the counter petition against his person. What happened to those petitions? Who are the investigation officers? So no matter the tantrums that are being thrown by the parents, because obviously there is a serious lacuna in the family from the division or divisiveness that we have seen. But that is where state institutions, it is a case of the death of a person, the Ministry of Justice, the Department of Public Prosecution, the Commissioner of Police, that is where they step in to take charge of the situation and know that we can protect life. But let me just tell you that any law enforcement that cannot protect the life of the living cannot give justice to the dead. We just have to have that at the back of our mind and fix our law enforcement system.
Wow. Thank you so much. And we've had, it's amazing how recently, I think everybody is now an activist.
Yes.
Is there like, because it's funny.
Yes.
I mean, the other day, I'll have to mention him if you don't mind.
Please do.
The other day, a very dark man came up and said that Iyabo Ojo, that's the Nollywood veteran, should be held liable for the death, that she knows everything, that she conspired, what. And he went further to say that he paid an hacker. Yeah. Which he came back again to debunk. Yeah. Is that some level of is that how that should be done? Is that not a criminal offense for you to go ahead to hack someone's account in the name of you're an activist?
Quite naturally, something about me is that I do not engage in personality discussions. I don't like to talk about people unless as it affects the welfare of other human beings and how the actions that we take, have consequences, ripple effects. Everything that has been going on from the issue of Mohbad from the day he died and all of that with other cases have just shown, as we said, a failure of our leadership and government. And as Nigeria, we will have to hold government accountable, because where there is a failure of leadership, law enforcement is not there. It gives room for people to step in and begin to make conspiracy theories. Imagine coming on air to say that somebody is a principal suspect in the death of another person without any tangible evidence to back it up. In any case of murder or suicide or whatever, homicide, everybody that is around the person, of course, is a subject of investigation, and all cards should be put on the table. But when you begin to consciously or intentionally pinpoint whom you decide or chose to be your own soft targets and obfuscate an entire part of the investigation or the incident, then it becomes some sense, sort of mischief. They become an ulterior motive or a sinister agenda to subjugate the truth. But who are we to blame? As you said, somebody comes out and makes wild allegations. If you come out and say that, Peter, you have a hand in so crime, the law says he that alleges must prove. That is what the law says. But because we have a system of anyhowness in Nigeria, there is the recklessness that comes from, the top is from top to bottom. So citizens take into that queue and begin to do whatever they do. And when you try to speak up, they will say, oh, you are crying foul. Oh, you are being malicious. Oh, you are being this. But I can't blame anybody. If law enforcement do their job, I will not need to be talking about who should be principal suspect. The police should know. The DPP should do their job. The coroner should do that. The Ministry of Justice. We have sufficient agencies. Why are people being the ones who are picking who is prime suspect or not? Imagine in the US, the FBI opens an investigation on a case of death of anybody or any other incident. Do you know that even the President of the United States is limited in commenting on an active investigation by any law enforcement agency? If you get a private a special counsel, the Department of Justice in the US, if you go as an interviewer or a journalist to ask the president a question, it will be termed interference with that investigation. If you have any credible information, go to the law enforcement agencies and cooperate with them. Because any other thing you begin to do is obstruction of that process. Any information you have, if you know that this person is a suspect, we should not cover anybody up, but be sincere and cooperate with the authorities so that we can get the justice. Unless you are trying to undermine the same justice you claim so badly to be seeking for.
Wow. Okay, so let's take it back home.
Yeah.
If you were to be given an opportunity to be the president of Nigeria in 1 week, what are the reforms? What reforms will you make to make life better?
His Excellency Randy Peter Aka, I guess that would be the title.
Yes, His Excellency.
And I don't know what position I would give you now. Secretary of State.
No, finance. Put me in finance.
Justice for Nigerian finance.
Yes.
Okay. So, look, Nigerians' problems are many, but the solution are also many. All Nigerian problems are human-made problems, and to every man-made problem, there is a man-made solution. Change will begin from the presidency and the National Assembly. Once you have a serious set of lawmakers and a president who has sincerity of purpose and has the competence and capacity to deliver on a vision, you will begin to see change from day one. Because leadership must set the tone for everybody to follow. That is why we have leaders. If I get into office today, the question would be, what took me into office? Why did I become president? There is something that I wanted to do. There must be a vision. There must be a plan to achieving those set goals and objectives. And then how do you achieve them? It's in uniting everybody to see that we are all stakeholders in this thing, that nobody feels marginalized. Every region in Nigeria is so blessed and has something to contribute to our national development. Let everybody come together and see how we restructure the country so that power truly belongs to the people and not a handful of mighty men who call the shots. That is what leadership is about. It's about the people. So whether I become president or whether anybody becomes president, the question is, what is your vision? What are your ideals? What exactly took you into public office? Are you there for your self-gratification or financial aggrandizement? If it is about the people, Nigeria has intelligent people that we will come together from day one, and you will begin to see the difference. You will begin to see change, and then we'll begin to move in that direction. It doesn't happen overnight, but with every little step we take, we will make progress, and we will get to that perfect union.
So we've been conducting election for decades upon decades upon decades. Would you say that throughout the history of Nigeria, would you say that we've had effective governance at some point? Like intelligent leaders who are well-meaningful, that did well, that came to power as the presidency or governance, that did well, absolutely well, and compared to what we have now? Let
me be very honest with you with my answer. Nigeria, we have never had perfect leadership. But from 1999, when we came back to our Fourth Republic, when President Obasanjo became our first civilian president in the Fourth Republic, there had been a continuous movement and progress to making things better. And that is why I will tell you here that Nigeria made a fundamental mistake in 2015. The Buhari presidency was the mistake that should never have been made. And what Nigeria is suffering today is the ghost of the Buhari presidency.
Mm.
When we came in from President Obasanjo, you might have a lot of issues with President Obasanjo, but he remains one of the most effective Nigerian presidents since our modern democratic history. The elections were flawed, and then the economy was better under President Obasanjo. He paid most of our foreign debts and all of that. Petroleum and the fights for corruption, he brought EFCC and all of that. He had his own issues, but there was progress. Fast forward to 2007, President Yaradua came, and Yaradua admitted that the elections that brought him and Jonathan were flawed, and they needed to improve on it. Unfortunately, he will die in 2010. President Jonathan contested elections by also improved the Electoral Act. In 2011, he won. In 2015, President Buhari, who was a beneficiary of an electoral process that was seemingly free, fair, and credible, had the opportunity to improve on that electoral system, because that is the most important system in a democracy, elections and how we get our leaders. What happened with the Buhari administration in 2019? Inconclusivity began with INEC. And then in 2023, what happened? INEC collected 313 billion and said we wanted to conduct electronic transmission of results. Out of that amount, it was 117 billion that was budgeted for beavers and all of that. On the day of the election, what happened? The INEC chairman came out and told Nigerians that, ladies and gentlemen, there was a glitch and we could not transmit results electronically. Mrs. Blessing, if we had a sincere leader, even if it was not your party that won the elections, if we commit 313 billion to a process and it fails, at least there should be an independent audit of that system.
Yeah.
Let us know why there was a glitch, so that subsequently we do not have a glitch. But what did President Buhari say? Anybody who disagrees should go to court. All the time Buhari contested elections in Nigeria, he always went to court, and the court always threw out his petition and upheld the elections of the person who was in power. What did President Buhari do to improve the judiciary that made him to tell you to go to court? Or did he know something about the court and he was sending you to that teaching hospital?
He said teaching hospital.
So that is where we are as a people. And that is why I have continuously insisted that we must go back and amend that Electoral Act and look at it. It made electronic transmission of results optional for INEC, but not mandatory. And the mere fact that that person is still INEC chairman till today should worry everybody. The INEC chairman is talking about conducting peaceful elections in Edo. After what you did in Imo, what you did in Kogi, you are guaranteeing, giving us assurances for Edo. Nigerians must come together and fix our electoral process. The arrogance you see these politicians display is because they know that whether you vote or you do not vote, leaders will be announced. It can be by 3 a.m. at midnight. It is what they call the democratization of disenfranchisement, politics without the people. Nigerians must pay attention and put pressure on this government to fix the process with which we get our system. Because if we do not fix that, we will continue to go around in circles. You will think that this one is bad or is worse. Wait for the one who will come in 2027. Then we keep protesting.
It's sounding like a roller coaster of unending.
A vicious circle, a tale of woes and lamentations until we take action, and the right action.
So right now, are you saying that our issue begins with INEC?
Yes.
Have we ever had an upright INEC chairman? Would you, the one you would say, okay, during his tenure, he did well? There
have been improvements. Under Obasanjo, President Obasanjo, they had a Professor Morris who INEC, and you know the problems that came with that. Professor Tahiru Jega, under President Jonathan, did what, according to him, was transparency. And partly because the president at the time, President Jonathan, did not also want to interfere in the process. But we cannot leave elections to be at the mercy of politicians and INEC. That is why if Nigerian youths pay a visit, and you see this end bad governance protest, you know I made videos telling them, what is end bad governance? What is the mother that gave birth to bad government? Now bad electoral system, now INEC. If you do not fix it, you are just you are protesting to the wind. You say we go National Stadium to go do for Eagle Square. Is it a concert? We have to go to the National Assembly and camp with the senators. We need electoral experts, constitutional lawyers. We want to review that INEC. That INEC server that had a glitch, let Nigerian youth man it. It was built for billions. Give Nigerian youth how many million? They will set up a server that will have a back-end support. Let us unbundle the electoral process and take it out of the hands of politicians and the law enforcement agents. Until you do that, we go come say 2027. You saw in Lagos in 2023, people were physically beaten out of polling units for looking like a certain tribe. Even Yoruba people who looked, they will tell you Omoiboni. And results were announced in that state. And you are still sitting down and saying, let us wait till 2027. You will see 2023 on steroids. President Tinubu was governor of Lagos State. He has been de facto governor for how many years?
There's a thing that they said that he built Lagos.
Yes.
Do you agree with that theory?
Since he built Lagos, you can see how he's building Nigeria, or maybe building materials are done. So that is, when we live a life of falsehood and we are not sincere to ourselves, what is the GDP of Lagos State? Lagos State has a GDP that is more than 28 or 30 states in Nigeria put together. But look at Lagos State now. In fact, in 2023, it was ranked by UNESCO as the third world most unlivable city. It came after Syria. Not even Lebanon, not even Afghanistan. Lagos. Your public transportation system, your security. When it floods, even VGC is in trouble. Everybody. And it is not about whether we have this problem. The question is what is being done. There is so much resources. Where is it going to? Where are the monies? If we cannot account for them, and people will continue to boast and make, because there are no consequences. In Nigeria, a politician can do anything and he will tell you nothing will happen, and nothing will happen. That is why a person can become governor for 4 years. A person who had no business before, after 4 years, he will become a billionaire. And guess what Nigerians will call him? A philanthropist. They say the man good. He help people. When I sick the other time, he sent me go hospital. With which person money? The money that should have been used to create health insurance for the state. Someone pockets it and begin to do Father Christmas for those who are around him. And we call them, philanthropists. Wealth without enterprise.
Let me chip in. I think this is allegedly, don't quote me. There was a time during COVID, there was a politician, I think she was a member of, was it House of Assembly?
Yes.
That was allegedly accused of distributing.
It wasn't an allegation, it was confirmed.
And they still confirmed, I think recently they still appointed her.
What I wanted to, she's at the Nigerian Trust Fund. She's holding a very key position in this federal government. A person who hoarded palliatives. That person is a state lawmaker who should be creating policies to better the life of the people. A pandemic came and ravaged the people. People were at home. Those COVID-19 palliatives were not just a product of government. It was private individuals, Dangote and the rest of them contributed palliatives, gave to the government to distribute. They were packed in warehouses. And a lawmaker in Nigeria got access to those that she should distribute to her people, decided to package them and use as souvenirs for her own birthday. Today, that person is being rewarded with a federal appointment under this government. And you say there should be no justice for Nigeria. Nigerians need justice. This kind of impunity, where people do whatever they want to do blatantly, they are cavalier in their impunity, it has to stop. And as long as Nigerians continue to allow this to go on unchecked, they will continue to rub it on our faces. We must put an end to this kind of rascality. It is not sustainable.
Wow. So if you're just joining in, this is the Kwa Podcast. Kindly subscribe. We are available on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Kindly subscribe, follow, share, invite more people. We are having Peter Rounding here. So I'll quickly like to thank our sponsors, the Kwa Event Center, for giving us this beautiful ambience where we use our podcast. For those of you who are looking at having your own conference, seminars, live recording, or for your event or seminars, Kwa Event Center is available for you. You can check us out on the website is www.kwaeventcenter.com. And also would like to thank Flourish 360 for partnering with us to bring this amazing podcast to your screen. Would thank Ikoyi Properties. Ikoyi Property is where you can rent, sell, market your real estate. It's available. Just sign up to ikoyiproperties.com. Thank you. Okay, so we've talked about the ills. We can sit down here and talk about all the negatives.
Yeah.
Let's concentrate on the positive. At least there should be something that is working for us in Nigeria.
Okay, what would that be?
I'm asking you the question. So let's look at the sectors.
Yeah.
What would we say that?
Should I be honest with you?
Okay.
The only sectors in Nigeria that are doing well is corruption, crime, and criminality. Those are the sectors that are flourishing. Every other thing is in trouble. We can decide to sit here and paint a scenario and say, oh, Nigeria, we are. As soon as we step out of this place and the conductor tells you the price of from here to the next bus stop, you will realize that there is a problem. As soon as you hear another story of a bandit or a kidnapper who has taken somebody and killed after collecting ransom, the reality will dawn on you. As soon as you see that queue in the filling station and you buy a liter of petrol for more than 1,000 naira in a country that is one of the world's highest producer of oil, you will also realize that there is a problem. No matter how good, it is not all gloom for Nigeria. Nigerians are an ingenious and enterprising people, a beautiful set of people. Forget about what you hear about Igbo, how Yoruba and all of that. That is the handwork of career politicians. The problem of the Yoruba man is not the Igbo man. The problem of the Igbo man is not the Yoruba man. The problem of both Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa, everybody together, is bad government and politicians. So Nigerians as a people, there is so much that we should be excited about. The mere fact that we are alive, we deserve certificates of survival. How did you cope for 8 years of Buhari? How have you survived 1 year of renewed hope? I hope your hope is being renewed. So Nigerians, we have a lot, but the problem is that there are obstacles on the way of Nigerians living up to their full potentials. If you want to say, oh, Nigerians are doing well in sports and entertainment, how easy it is for young people today. What is youth unemployment? If you say that you are struggling to, earn a living for yourself, look at inflation at 34%. Look at insecurity. Is it education you want to talk about? Is it health? Have you visited any teaching hospital or federal medical center or general hospital? So there is a lot that is good about us as Nigerians. What we need to do is to channel it to get a government and a system that helps Nigerians become all of that good that we are. Look at Kwa Podcast. Look at what you are doing with the platform that you have. Giving voice to the voiceless, bringing issues front and center. Imagine if Nigerians had the opportunity to live up to their God-given potentials like that, where the 15 million out of school children have a means of returning back to school and becoming decent human beings, responsible to their society. Nigeria has a lot that is good about us, but there is one fundamental missing link: our governance and our leadership. We must fix it.
But you said something very profound in your last statement. They're like, Nigerians are good people,
Yes.
but governance.
Yes.
The same Nigerians that are good people, are they not the ones that makes the governance?
Yes, leadership is a product of the government. Yes, you are correct. But not absolutely. And that is why we would not know until we give Nigerians a fair system to elect and choose their leaders. Mrs. Blessing, Nigerians came out to vote, and both of us agreed that some people were beaten out of polling units. No matter what happens, how fair is that kind of a situation? If somebody will go to vote and you will hear that somebody came with gun to snatch a ballot box, how fair is that process? The most important right in a democracy is your right to vote in a free, fair, and credible manner. Once your voting rights are not guaranteed, every other right is threatened. Because the person you are voting in is the one who will reform the oil sector, fight corruption, the health sector, the educational sector. So even if there are some Nigerians who, seemingly support certain governments, people might support because you feel you are benefiting from them. You might be doing Yoruba Ronu, you might be doing, on your mandate we stand. By the time when mandates don't carry for a reach 1,000 naira, it is not only those who did not vote for the government that are suffering it. The people who have been killed, who are victims of the flood in Borno State, too, there are also some of them who voted for the current administration. The ones who kidnap go carry, they will not ask of your party voter card. They will not ask of your INEC registration, how you register to vote. You are all victims of incompetence, and the hand of incompetence is long enough to go round. Every Nigerian will come to that shaggy that those who have been seen before have been crying. So what we want is we need to come together and get a system where we can elect a leader that enjoys a majority of acceptance from the people, where everybody has the acceptance that, look, we elected this person. If he fails to perform, the same system that brought him will take him out and bring someone else. That is where our dilemma is.
Okay, so do you have a preferred candidate who you think? Because so someone watching this will say, oh, it's because he does not support this party, or because they've been this division. Oh, it's because you're against this person because he's not from your tribe. You're against this person because you're not in support of the ruling party. Do you have a preferred person among all the candidates that participated in the last election? Do you have a preferred candidate who you think would have done better than what this present administration is doing?
Let me tell you something from my personal life and what I'm doing. If you follow me, I try to be as detribalized and as cosmopolitan as possible. A lot of persons do not know where I come from, my old state of origin. Because I like to relate with people as a human being, as Nigerians. There is a video where I told you, where I put on my social media, where I was given an award in Ibadan. Because I have lived there, and for years I have not even gone to my home state. Whether you are Yoruba, I'm Yoruba. If you are Igbo, if you are Fulani, if you are Hausa. I do not have that kind of dichotomy because I know that everybody is a human being and deserves equal rights and to be treated fairly. The problem with the leadership is, when they begin to bring ethnic coloration, it is because you are incompetent and incapacitated. You cannot deliver on anything. You begin to throw tribal sentiments. Mrs. Blessing, if the president is an Igede man, the Lord be with him. The question is, can you fix this system? What is my business with where you are from? Because they will begin to tell you that, oh, maybe because you support Peter Obi. I have never met him. I don't know him. I don't benefit anything directly from him. But Peter Obi, do you have the competence to fix this? Does your track record prove that you can do something? A, Y, Z. In the opportunities that you have had to lead in public office, the 4 persons who were lead contenders in 2023 had all occupied public offices. Tinubu was the governor 8 years for Lagos, Kwankwaso 8 years in Kano, Obi 8 years in Anambra, Atiku 8 years as vice president. What were your antecedents? How prudent were you with financial management? What was corruption like under your administration? What was the welfare of the people? If you can answer those questions sincerely, you would not have a need to ask me about tribe or ethnicity, because your competence and capacity is what will come before you. So when it comes to tribe and ethnicity, if you like, hand over from one Ishekiri man to another Ishekiri man to another Ijo man. Who in the US is asking where Biden is from? Who is asking where Trump is from? In fact, when Trump and Hillary Clinton contested, they were both from the US state of New York. He, Queens, she stays in Chappaqua, although he lives in Florida. What is the business of an American with the state where, Oga, can you deliver? If you cannot deliver, kindly excuse. You have sounded too good for the good you have done. In the name of God, go. So it's not about my tribe or your tribe or anything. Nigerians need to be better. People are suffering and are dying. Your tribe has nothing to do. It is your character, your competence, and your capacity that I am talking about.
Well, I see you're good with current affairs. Let's go deep with how well you know how well you know your preferred candidate, because you mentioned that Peter Obi has a clear record, a clear track record
Yes.
during his time.
Yeah.
So how well can you walk us through his journey as the governor of Anambra State? Because there have been some alleged accusation that during his time he did this, he did that, and I think there was one from the Labour Party that they said all the money that was contributed to, during the election period could not be accounted for by Peter Obi and Aisha Yusuf. So there've been a lot of back and forth on that. So how well do you know your candidate?
The question you will even ask is, before Peter Obi went to the Labour Party in 2023, before the election in 2022 rather, how many of you all knew the Labour Party? Who knew who was Labour Party chairman? Who was talking about Labour Party? Was Labour Party planning to win presidential election or to get 6 million votes according to INEC? Let us assume that result is even correct. Peter Obi is a person who I have tried to follow. And that is not to say that in 2019, Peter Obi was not on the ballot, but I voted for someone. I try to look, and that is what I do with my current affairs. When you see me mention governors, senators, I want Nigerians to be able to look at antecedents of a person. When you were here, what did you do? The current vice president has been governor, has been senator, he's now vice president. He's likely to contest for president. Obi was governor for 8 years, and what I have noticed with the man is a person who sees political parties as a vehicle to getting into public office for public good. Obi contested election under PDP in Anambra State and was denied the ticket. Went to APGA and won PDP that was the dominant force in that state. They fought Obi to a standstill. He was taken out of office twice. His deputy, Dame Virginia Etiaba, she acted for some time. He went to court, won his case and came back. He was thrown out again and then came back. At the end of it, if nothing tells you any story about a person like Peter Obi, Obi ran as an opposition candidate and told Nigerians that if anybody had any corruption allegation against him, the person should come out and put it out. Remember that the current governor of Anambra State, Professor Soludo, came out and was physically or outwardly opposing Peter Obi. He was governor until date, could not come out with one on Peter Obi. Guess what? The person who succeeded Peter Obi, Chief Wilberforce Obiano, is facing EFCC charge on misappropriation of funds. It takes an incredible level of confidence for a man, a politician in Nigeria, to tell you that if you have anything against me, go and put it out. Everybody who has been governor after Tinubu has been handpicked by President Tinubu. In fact, the only person who tried to go against him, Ambode, was kicked out of the place. Let a neutral person take over the reins of government and let us open the books and know where is what. That is when we'll talk about integrity and character. At the time when Peter Obi was leaving, who was he owing? Gratuity, pension, severance, contractors, but left money in banks' accounts for people in the state to use. And somebody said, oh no, that one is trying to. The one you are supporting, bring the record now, let us compare. I'm talking about character. Obi had businesses. He was a CEO of a bank before he became governor. The family had companies and interests. He was on boards of different companies in the UK. So Obi can tell me he's a philanthropist and I will verify because he pays tax. He has registered businesses before becoming a politician. There is wealth that has enterprise in Obi. In another politician, I am seeing wealth with zero enterprise. Looting public resources and exploiting people and rubbing it on their faces as a philanthropist and a billionaire. What a tragedy of a country. So I know the candidates and I know their track records. And it is not even about Obi. My fight for a better Nigeria, if Obi does not contest, what stops you from becoming president? What stops me? It is about Nigeria to work. And even Obi has said it severally. I'm not running to desperate to be president. I'm desperate to see Nigeria better. It is desperate politicians that believe that power is all that they need. Since Obi lost election, have you seen him rest? Every day, he's everywhere. Your president, the one we have, where is he? So let us be fair. It is not, what is my business if with Obi? I don't know him. But he has inspired a generation of young people who believe that this country can be better. And that is why the obedient movement is not even it's not in the hands of Obi. It is powered by young Nigerians, people who want to survive. Suffer too much. Everybody wants japa. Every day US is increasing criteria for visa everywhere, Europe. How many of us can run? Please let us give us opportunity to survive and live in this country. It's too bad.
Let's take a deep at the refinery. At least we have some good news.
Okay.
It's not totally bad. At least we now have a working refinery in Nigeria now.
Okay. The Nigerian refinery is now working?
No, an independent refinery. Whether it is owned by Nigeria.
Yes, and so, it's so great.
Yes, it's so great.
And it's the largest oil refinery in Africa.
Yes, but there's been some back and forth as to the pump price. I think, was it yesterday, I was going through the news and he said that he can't sell below what the NNPC what the marketers are asking him to do. So would you say that just having a refinery in Nigeria, would you say it solves our problem or it's an issue on its own?
I think the reality answers the question now. The refinery is functioning. Fuel is at 1,000 something. The refinery is up and running. It is supposed to have mitigated the problem now, Abi. The problem with Nigeria, I will always go back to it. You know, the president stood on a podium on May 29 last year. Subsidy regime is gone. The problem with Nigeria's subsidy regime and is not the subsidy. It is the criminality and corruption in the subsidy regime and in the oil sector. Mrs. Blessing, how much exactly is subsidy? The subsidy that was taken out, where is it? How much is it? Why did Nigeria wait for one man to fix refinery? And for years, Nigeria has been budgeting billions to service refineries that are not producing anything. Billions of Nigeria maintaining Kaduna, Warri, and Port Harcourt refinery in our budget every year. The question Mr. President will need to answer is the corruption and criminality in the oil sector over? Today, as we are talking, guess who is Nigeria's Minister for Petroleum? President Tinubu. There is Minister for State Petroleum, Honorable Henneke Lokobiri. There is State Gas Resources, Mr. Iperibeku from Akwa Ibom. The same thing President Buhari did for 8 years was Minister for Petroleum. President Buhari was a retired military general. And it was the heat of insurgents. In fact, they said Buhari go fight security. Oshibanjo go focus on economy. Why did Buhari not make himself de facto Minister for Defense? Why petroleum? Why is also President Tinubu in the Petroleum Resource Ministry? Who has audited the accounts of NNPC? Look at the Saudi Aramco, the Saudi-owned oil company. Every year, surplus of profit. Nigeria's NNPC is looking for money. That is why no matter how they try to sugarcoat and what they are doing is washing and setting. The thing that is going on in that oil sector, they have not really said it. When oil marketers and everybody, when you listen to them, you will know that there is much more. It is not recently that Dangote also, you saw him now. In fact, Dangote almost opened podcast. He was crying and granting interview everywhere. You saw what happened. There was serious pressure. What is going on in that oil sector? If you don't unbundle that criminality and corruption, we will be a people who are by the riverside and soap don't enter our eyes. Nigeria are a people who are living in the midst of plenty, yet living in so much lack and suffering.
Okay, so apart from the hashtag, apart from coming on social media to, create awareness, get attention from the government and also let your voice be heard. Is there any other thing you're doing behind the social media awareness?
I work for a human rights organization. Part of what made me even come into this is my experience with my human rights, background. We go to protection, promotion, and enforcement of human rights. There are courses that I'm very passionate about. Visiting detention facilities, trying to see how we can get people who are waiting trial to get legal representation. If you go to the Nigerian prison, you will understand the pain of Nigerians. There are certain prisons in Nigeria that were built with a capacity of about 390. As at the last time we visited, it was housing more than 1,200 people. Mrs. Blessing, people were cramped in positions that you can't sit like this because once your legs comes out, there is someone here. The color of the cells, they are black and dark. And you will see people in prisons who have been awaiting trial for a period that is more than a possible sentence. Let me explain that. The offense you committed requires a sentence of maybe 6 months or 1 year, or it is even non-custodial. That is, you should not even be remanded. You should be given maybe community punishment, sweep, or do something. But they have been in prison for more than 2 years. Meaning, if they had gotten judgment, they have even outserved a possible sentence because there have been no lawyers, there have been no judges. The courts are overwhelmed. They will tell you adjournment. We don't have legal representatives. There is a lot going on there, and that is where you see the real inhumanity Nigerians are facing. So what I try to do is continue this awareness that, look, Nigerians, you may have it well going for you. Does not mean everybody is having it that way. And even though you have it well going today, are you sure if a stray bullet comes tomorrow, you'll be able to protect yourself? The lawyer who was killed in Ajah last year, a pregnant woman who the husband was driving, was she planning to go and die in the morning of that day? Nigeria has happened to her. Nigeria happens to us every day. It is our collective responsibility to come together as a people and fix this country in the best interest of all of us. And the earlier we do it, the better. So whether in front of social media or behind camera, that is what I'm doing. I go to youth program wherever to talk to them. Register, be interested in politics, join whether you want to be a member of a political party, get voters card, be interested in issues that affect your life. When things that go trend for Twitter, fuel, this and that, comment, not be gossip when no concern you. Now you go to talk which motor whiskey by Davido, the thing with Bonda Boy in own course past the one, which celebrity wedding was more. Those things are okay for entertainment. But you fit they come back from Davido concert, make one police officer carry you, where they say for another 2 years your papa mama go define you. They no go know say you don't die for somewhere. They go think say you this, maybe you travel. Nigerians that have died and nobody knows their square roots. So we had better fix it. That is what I do, whether offline and online. Nigeria is my priority. The well-being of this country.
If you had an opportunity to relocate, would you relocate?
I have never been a fan of living overseas. I don't know how it happened, but even if I'm given the opportunity today to live overseas, I won't. I want to go as a diplomat. I want to go on vacation. I want to go as a tourist or whatever. But I want to live in Nigeria. If I run today, how many of my family will I take with me? My siblings are here. My mother is here. The poor widow. So let me be there and be living. And then I will hear that somebody invaded my community and then took my extended family. There is no place that can be like my home. I don't want to be a second-class citizen anywhere. Let me live in this Nigeria. This Nigeria, we mount here. Nobody should chase me out of my country.
Wow, that's very profound. So, unlike some other persons that are probably liquidating their assets to Jackpot, you're not interested.
No, I'm not. But I mean, I need a ticket to go on a vacation. Justice for Nigeria need to rest too. Maybe 1 or 2 weeks, then come back. But no, I love Nigeria. I want to live here.
Okay, so Justice for Nigeria sounds like a good quest.
Yeah.
Has it attract any threat from anywhere? Because that's what I think that is what is making a lot of people not want to talk about government and all that. Has it come with backlash and threats from the unknown?
The answer is quite obvious, definitely. And in my own case, it is even very, concerning because I'm not like the celebrity or anybody who I don't have security. I don't even have a car. I just move around maybe. And then sometimes people will just see me and identify me. So sometimes you see me try to maybe put a mask and all of that. But the words of my mother, the last phone call she had with me some few days ago, she told me, she said, Peter, like I have been following. I didn't know she goes on social media to listen to what I say and see comments. She said, I don't know. I have known that God has a plan for you, but I didn't really know where it is headed. And I have surrendered you to God and to the course that you want to pursue. May God protect you. And I believe that nobody will take life from you that they did not give to you. Because I listen to what you say, and what you are saying are not lies. The truth. Somebody died, no fuel, hunger. So I don't know why people will even be commenting they need to protect this guy at all costs. The fact that we need to protect people for speaking the truth is a concern. But Nigerians are dying. My father died, he was not criticizing Nigeria. Whether I talk or not, I will die. The most tragedy for me is living a life of cowardice, accepting what was not my own life because I was too afraid to speak up. We know one die, we know one quench, but people, they die. If I fall sick today and they take me to the hospital, there's no ambulance or oxygen, I can still die. So my own issue is not in whether there will be threats or anything. It's that the truth that I know and the cause that I believe in, we must fight for it. We must stand up for it. And guess what? This Nigeria, we no die here. We live here. Nobody will take us away because the Almighty God brought us for a time and a purpose like this. He will not abandon us.
About that comment that you made, I remember during the last election, the presidential election, I was at my polling unit, the pastor of AM. Yes, and rain was falling. You know, we've done everything we can. Yeah. We've voted. You know, at some point we saw some very scary guys and we were scared at some point. I remember hearing other people that were there saying, we die here, we die here. And we were there, we ensured that they counted before us. Rain was falling that particular day. I remember putting my leg in the mud and we were counting 1, 2, 3, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah. What was the drive that day? You were believing that a new Nigeria was within your grasp. There was a collective sense.
There was this glimmer of hope.
And it was shattered. And that is what must continue to push us. As Nigerians, do not give up on this country. A better Nigeria is possible, but it's not guaranteed. We will have to fight for it. If they say they won't go protest, they fear say police go shoot us. How many be police for Nigeria? The total number of police is about 371,000. How many police won't kill? Police say we won't come shoot peaceful protester. Himself, Nigeria, demobilizer. How much is the salary of a policeman? How many police are able to afford a decent life? Go to police barracks. How much is the salary of a lieutenant colonel in the Nigerian army? You no see video of Nigerian army for Adamawa, Abiwu State for Northeast. Where a carry bag say won't travel. By the time they hear transport, the salary for
I saw that video.
You saw that video where he was wailing. Yeah. That is Nigeria happening to a man who has sworn to defend his country. Everybody is a victim. The protest where we go do. Even the person who been the plan say won't come scuttle peaceful protest. When he see the number, now protest where people know.
But there was a large number in 2020 now. The number was large in 2020. The NSAS
was large, and that is why it is another topic for another day. Our priorities and where we are headed. Day 1, NSAS. Day 2, NSAS. Government say we have ended SARS. What are we still doing on the road? If you protest against SARS, you should know that the mother way born SARS na bad police. If you protest against NSAS, you will protest against Civil Defense, EFCC, DSS, Custom, Army. The umbrella is a bad law enforcement. The DMs I sent to the people who handle NSAS, they are still there till today. Because anybody who knew Nigeria knew it will go the way it will go. The protest where we go protest for Nigeria, the venue, no be toll gates, no be road. Na National Assembly, na Aso Rock where President Tinubu dey. We go sleep there with mattress and stove. They go they bring food. If 20,000 youths enter National Assembly and say we demand electoral act in a peaceful demonstration, the politician wey won't come fight Nigeria, they never born am. Look at what happened in Bangladesh now. Prime Minister did not come out of the presidential palace. Nigerians just need to align and focus. Make we put focus where focus is needed and take the action that we need. Before God and man, and between me and you, we go see result. Me, I believe
but it comes with a price.
It comes with a price. We must be ready to pay the price. What is our other option? if we do not want to pay the price, sit back and wait for the day when Nigeria will happen to you. God forbid.
And the fuel keeps going up, the price,
the fuel
food
keeps
price, everything. Wow.
Everything.
So let's go back to you now. Okay, because there was a time I was going through one of your posts on the comment section, and someone said, "Oh, this guy doesn't know the current affairs as a claim that there's a prompt. He's reading it out there." So you are live on the Kwa podcast. Obviously, you're coming here as a guest, and there is no prompt. So for the better Nigeria you've been talking about, let's find out how well you know this Nigeria.
All right, let's try.
Okay, so let's do current affairs.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about we'll start from the grassroots, from the local governments. How many local governments do we have in Nigeria?
774 local governments.
How many do we have in Lagos?
Lagos State we have both LCDAs and, local governments. So their own is they have 33 at one point and the other one. So I don't really, should I be honest with you? I do not pay so much attention to the local governments because they are just appendages of the state government. They are not viable. They are supposed to be the closest to the people at the grassroots. But the local government chairman, now they are talking about local government autonomy, you can hear it. So that one is just waiting for a governor to collect allocation, share pocket money, make him to go chop. So the local government, who knows their local government chairman? What do they do? What projects do they embark on? Everybody, they wait to collect and chop. So I have paid more attention to the state governors and the federal system so that we can restructure to have a better local government system. I don't know if it makes sense in that direction.
Okay, so let's do state government.
Anyone.
Okay, so can you give me the history of effective? I'm going to twist you a little.
Okay.
Effective to you. Effective. We can pick a state. Or let's just go through all through the states.
Okay.
Effective governors that we've had in the history of Nigeria.
Effective governors. I wouldn't want to. That will be putting us on the spot because everybody in their state will have an interpretation of what their governors have been. Just like if you go to Cross River now, a lot of people will talk about their 1999 governor Donald Duke. You know the era of Donald Duke, the tourism, the Carnival Calabar, the Obudu Cattle Ranch and Tinapa. So that is it. If you come to a state like maybe Delta, from the Ibori administration, 1999, he was succeeded by Emmanuel Uduaghan. He was then succeeded by Ifeanyi Okowa, and now they have Honorable Sheriff Oboriwore. So they will know which one. There are some people who still celebrate in Ogara. They say Ibori was the best for them, Uduaghan. So you understand.
What about Lagos? If
we go to Lagos, we had Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 1999. He had two deputy governors, Femi Pedro and Mrs. Kofo Bokno. He was then succeeded by Barrister Babaji Tunde Raji Fashola. Fashola was then succeeded by Mr. Akinwumi Ambode. Ambode was succeeded by the incumbent Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu. A lot of persons will tell you they enjoyed the Ambode's administration. Some will say it was Fashola who brought sanity. So you see that divide. If you go to a state like Rivers, they will say, oh, Wike did a lot of roads. In 1999, it was Sir Peter Otonanyao-Dini. He was succeeded initially by Celestine Umehia. Then came, Umehia was taken out and then came Rotimi Amechi. A lot of persons love Rotimi Amechi, but somehow, he lost to install a successor. Wike came in, who was even his own chief of staff. And Wike is now succeeded by Amaupu Senibo Siminala Ifubara. So there is another discussion there. Should we go to another state? Maybe
let's go to the north, yes.
Okay, North Central. In Benue State, for example, 1999, we had Governor George Akume. He was succeeded by Governor Senator Gabriel Towa Suswan. Suswan was then succeeded by the immediate past governor, that is Dr. Samuel Uwaye Otom. Otom is succeeded by the current governor. He's a Catholic priest, Reverend Father Hyacinth Yulimalia. Some persons will tell you, oh, maybe they enjoyed Suswan better. Maybe Otom was a disaster. Maybe Akume was better. But Akume today is Secretary to Government of the Federation. Let us go to a state like Kano. It's a big state in the north. In 1999, we had Kwankwaso was there. He was then succeeded by Malam Ibrahim Shekarau, who will become senator later. Then Kwankwaso came back, completed his tenure, then was succeeded by Umaru Ganduje, who is the current APC national chairman, who, by the way, was also deputy governor to Kwankwaso. And then he is now succeeded by Yusuf Abba Kabir. A lot of persons like Kwankwaso. You can see the Kwankwasiya movement in Kano. Some persons like Malam Shekarau. Some persons might say Umaru Ganduje. It depends on what side of the divide you are looking at and all of that. So have we talked about all this?
The Borno State.
Borno State, 1999. We had Boni Haruna. He was succeeded by Mala Kachala. Then we had Senator Alimodu Sheriff. Alimodu Sheriff was then succeeded by Senator Kashim Shettima, the current vice president, who is now succeeded by Professor Babagana Umoru Zulum. The deputy governor is somebody, Alhaji Usman Kadafo. And then a lot of persons, had issues with Alimodu Sheriff, SARS, they call him SARS. A lot of persons liked the Kashim Shettima governorship tenure in Borno State. He's a very popular governor there. Even the incumbent governor is also a very popular governor. Let's do Southeast one. We have not said anything about the Southeast.
Okay, right on.
Okay, so in 1999, in Enugu State, we had Dr. Chimaroke Namani, a very strong governor. Yes, he was then succeeded by Governor Sullivan Chime. Sullivan Ihenacho Chime would then be succeeded by Governor Ifeanyi Lawrence Ugwuanyi. They call him Buru Buru. He is then succeeded by the incumbent governor, Barrister Dr. Peter Ndubisi Mbadi. Deputy governor is Ifeanyi Osai. In Abia State, they had Ojiuzo Okalo, 1999, succeeded by Chief Theodore Oji. They call him Ochendo. He was succeeded by Governor Okeze Ikpeazu, Dr. Ikpeazu. And then he was then succeeded by the current Dr. Alex Chioma Uti. A lot of persons have serious issues with all the former governors of Abia State. I don't know how lucky or unlucky they have been, but I hope it gets better. So that basically. What
about the West?
The Southwest. We spoke about Lagos State. Okay, let's talk about, for example, in Ondo State. In 1999, they had Governor Ade Farasi. He was succeeded by the late Olusegun Agagu. Agagu, who died, and then when his corpse was being transported back, the aircraft crashed again. I don't know if you remember that story. The aircraft crashed carrying the corpse of the remains of the late former governor. He was then succeeded by Chief Olusegun Mimiko, Dr. Mimiko, who was succeeded by the late Governor Orotimi Akeredolu, who died in office, succeeded by his deputy, that is Mr. Lucky Orimiso Ayedatiwa. The deputy governor is somebody Adelami, Olayemi Adelami. So that's been it. In Oyo State, they had Lam Adeshino. He was succeeded by Rashid Ladoja. Ladoja was then succeeded by his own deputy, Otumba Christopher Adebayo Alawa Akala, who is also late, by the way. Akala was succeeded by the late Senator Isiaka Abiola Ajimobi. Ajimobi was then succeeded by the incumbent governor of Oyo State, that is His Excellency Engineer Oluseyi Abiodun Makinde, who is married to another engineer, Engineer Mrs. Tamuno Minini Oluseyi Makinde. The deputy governor is Barrister Bayo Lawal, Adebayo Lawal from Kishi. Yeah.
How are you able to put all this in your head?
What's your state? Let's go to your state now.
I'm from Cross River State.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
We mentioned Donald Duke.
We mentioned Donald. That was running in my head.
No, let's do a bonus for your state. Donald Duke was married to Mrs. Onari Duke. He was succeeded by Senator Lee Elimoke, who was married to Barrister Obioma Elimoke. He was then succeeded by Professor Benedict Brengusho Yade from Obudu, who was married to Dr. Linda Yade. They are now succeeded by the current governor, Senator Pete. Pete Ebasi now, Ededu Prince Basi Ededu. He's married to Mrs. Yoawan Otu. The deputy governor is Mr. Peter Odi. The senators from Cross River State include Senator Jaribeya Gom, Cross River North, Senator William Seten Jonah, Cross River Central, and then Senator Ekpeyong Asoko, Cross River South. That is just a bonus because of you.
Because of you too. Wow, this is amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on the show. We hope to get more positive response from the government. Yeah. And it's not just I think justice for Nigeria shouldn't be just you. Yeah. It is for everybody. Yeah. So we hope to see people, carry more the placard for change. Right. I also want to ask you. Yeah. All right. Aside the justice for Nigeria, what else do you do?
Sometimes I'm a part-time content creator. I volunteer for human rights. I'm a radical evangelist. I'm ensuring that people run this heavenly race. That is another. That heavenly race is.
So will I make heaven?
It depends. My spiritual thermometer is not here, but the way I'm looking at you now, I hope These things
I
are
need
not-
to check, please. Please check me, man of God.
Eh.
I want to make heaven.
Can you drop 12% tithe now?
Are you supposed? This is Justice Nigeria. Justice for Nigeria we're talking about. Are we supposed to be paying tithes?
So-
Tithes. We are not supposed to pay tithes.
Now NNPC
But-
will give you to go heaven. When they talk about heaven, you're talking about justice for
So
Nigeria.
I need that percentage you're talking about is
Yeah.
for fuel.
10% is your normal tithe. 2% is spiritual value added tax. It's our
But that's
spiritual
corruption now.
tithe. Which one be corruption?
Do I need to pay for petroleum to go to heaven?
Maybe when you enter hell and see how it dey hot, you will now reconsider this time. I say pay this 12% and I'll see how to put your name.
But this is corruption. How will you put my name in the name of in the book of life?
Okay, you believe you can put your name by yourself. You
Oh,
believe
I need
have the
you?
power. That is why I'm called now, to move you in, to
Ah.
pick you in.
This is corruption. Oh.
You need a high priest now.
This is corruption because you had already. You want me to bribe you to go to heaven.
It is not bribe. It
Is
is
what?
spiritual value added tax.
Spiritual. Who will check that?
Okay, so I can.
Do we have accountant that will check that? Are you working with some angels that will
How
check
do
that?
I now break the yoke from the family? Ancestral lineage.
Also,
breaking of the
okay,
yoke.
how do you know I have yoke?
There
What
is-
what makes you think there's a yoke?
Do you not eat egg?
I eat egg.
Is there no yolk in egg?
So are you saying for everybody that eats egg, there's an ancestral yoke?
Listen, if you are ready for me to break the yoke and move you to the list of people who are, because you are now in my supplementary list.
Okay.
But once I see you alert, I move you.
So what currency will I be paying with?
If you use dollars, it is a higher rate. I drop every.
Why
other
will you be
position.
charging dollar when you're in Nigeria?
That is it now. That is it.
I thought you'd be collecting some heavenly currency.
I'm under the United Nations of heaven.
Wow, amazing, amazing. With you, we can go on and on and on and on. And I like the fact that you're very versatile. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you, Nigerians, for watching, our viewers. Again, this is the Kwa Podcast, as you've already know, and my name is Blessing Diwansin Bribo. So feel free to follow us on TikTok, Kwa Podcast, and YouTube, Kwa Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, and we are here with the one and only. Why Randy?
It's a house name that was added to my name. My name is Peter Aka.
Okay.
And then it was also used on my social media handle. So, right, because when I put Peter, it was Instagram kept somebody has taken this thing.
Okay.
So we now had to use Randy Peter.
So, but why the
So-
Randy? Why did you have to add Randy?
It's
Because
for-
Randy has a meaning on its own.
It is coined from random.
Oh,
The
okay.
randomness of the Peter.
Okay.
Everywhere you go.
Oh, wow.
You get
All
it?
right. So we are here with the random man. That is why he's doing justice for Nigeria, and he's also a radical man of God. All right. Until we come again next week. For those of you who are just joining in, thank you. For those of you who haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We have episodes every week. The last time we had Rugged Man, and next week we are having Amazing. And for those of you who have stories to share, you're looking for a platform where you can share your stories. You know those stories that you really would need public opinions on. No, those private things that has happened to you. You're just looking for where to share. Send us a DM, and we'll keep you anonymous. Yes, we have a segment for that. Thank you. Until we come again next time. From us, we say bye bye.